Hi, bonjour. Who here doesn't speak French? Who here doesn't speak English? Okay, so maybe I'll do it in English, if you don't mind. Hello, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. We're in a very strange time, don't you think? First of all, who here thinks that the revelations about PRISM don't tell us much more, that we knew already? Okay? Who here, I think you're wrong, by the way, and I'll try to explain this to you. Who here still uses a Facebook or Gmail account? Well, if you answered positively to both questions, you may be in some kind of denial. Well, we learned something. We learned something big. We learned that we now have a smoking gun. We now have undeniable evidence with a top secret /no phone sign on it that wasn't denied by the US government. We have evidence that surveillance that we knew for years was happening is not only happening, but also massive and generalized. To anyone telling you that, oh, we knew all that already, recall that number of 97 billion pieces of information for the month of March 2013 only. Tell them that. We know also for a fact, with undeniable evidence, that those companies are actively engaged in collaborating with the mass surveillance. This is also something very new. We thought it might be happening, we thought it was likely to happen. We now have solid evidence. Why do we need solid evidence? Because if only us hackers and geeks know that something is happening, it is not enough to change it. In order to change this, we need to have a profound debate in our society about the paranoid policies that were enacted since September 11, 2001. We need to have a profound debate to go backwards, to take back control of those intelligence agencies, which power got extended beyond all form of democratic control. We need to do this. So you may think that this is mostly a problem for people in the US. And you may be right. But they cannot make it without pressure from the outside. And this is a global issue. Remember Obama's justification? Oh, don't worry, it's not the US citizens. Well, he was lying, by the way. But we are all concerned by it, and we all need to participate in this public debate. The second thing is that this evidence of the participation of the Google, the Facebook, the Skype shows clear as A plus B, as 1 plus 1 equals 2, that we cannot trust those companies for protecting our personal data and the secret of our personal communications. You can now go and tell everyone you know who doesn't have the skill, doesn't understand the architecture of the underlying communication infrastructure, that when you think you're talking with your friend, you're talking with your friend, the NSA, the FBI, the thousands of private contractor companies who are working with them, and all the institutions around the world who have deals with them. It makes quite a difference, don't you think? So, we are here. About 90+% of this audience is still using a Facebook account or a Gmail account. What do we do from here? Where do we go? What are the questions we shall be asking ourselves? What we're seeing here is architectures of communication infrastructure that are designed to get hold of our personal data and to put an eye in our personal communication. The very centralization of the Googles and the Facebooks of this world means that they will access all the data, that they can break deals, they can strike deals with companies, with governments to give access to this data, because this access means power. Power is embedded within the architecture. In other terms, the architecture is political. So we know that. It's no news. We know the value of architecture. Still, 90+% of people here use Gmail or Facebook. So I think we are here watching one of the most rapid and dangerous development of technology in our recent history. We are getting so much used to it, and it's going so fast that we do not even take time to think about it. Think about it. Some years ago, computer systems were our friends. We had friendly computers. Computers you could understand from the beginning to the end of the hardware. Computers you could talk to at each and every layer. Computer you would program and that would obey your command with no ambiguity. We're increasingly walking into a world where computers and information systems are being turned into our enemies. Systems such as Facebook is designed as centralized and designed to blur the line between what is public, what is private, what is Facebook, what is accessible, and what is not. A system such as the computers we have in our pockets is one of the most closed down computer systems we've ever seen and used. These are not smartphones. They're not smart. And they're not phones. They're computers. And what is the definition of smart here? Is something that doesn't let you choose which software you install smart? Is something that doesn't let you choose the source for installing your software smart? Is something that doesn't let you access the specification of the baseband chip that is now built in the CPU that allows to access to the network, to send and receive data? Is something that doesn't let you access the specification, therefore control such a key element of your hardware. Is that smart? Those computers are now being built with antisocial features, with anti-features. Brains and money are being invested for the sole purpose of blocking you from doing what you want to do, for controlling the usage you might want to have with your device. From a time of friendly computer, we are now deep to the ears into the era of enemy computers. We know the features of those enemy computers. We've heard this for years. Closed hardware, closed software, centralized architecture, unencrypted communications. We know what are the design patterns of technology that controls us. The same way we've heard for years. We've heard Richard Stallman talking for the last 25 years about free software, about Libre software. We know that Libre software is an essential brick for democracies based on sharing information and interconnected devices. Now, let's take a bigger picture. If we see those enemy computers built on closed software and centralized architecture, what would be the characteristics of those friendly computers, of technology that doesn't make us more controlled and surveilled, but technology that makes us more free? Everything is on the table. free Libre software is essential for the user to always be able to control the machine and emancipate from the machine controlling the user. Decentralized architecture is the key for keeping our data under control. End-to-end encryption. I'm talking end-to-end encryption, not the encryption where you delegate the management of the keys to Skype or to some CA. Know what I mean? End-to-end encryption is the key of, no pun intended, of holding control of your data and communication. We know that. We need the three together to build free technology. And not only free technology, but technology that will make people freer, more free. Then why don't we use them? Why are there still 90% of the people in this room using Gmail or Facebook? Well, we know the weight of the habits. We know that losing your habit for once is something very difficult for everyone, including us. And we should really think about it. Also, we know that those technologies are on the table for the last 15 years, at least. Free software, decentralized architecture, end-to-end encryption. There's nothing new here. But we've all tried someday to make people one day go and use Ubuntu or Debian, or try to use GPG, or try to use something else than a Gmail or a Facebook. And we've all witnessed how difficult it is. And we all thought at some stage, bah, we have the knowledge, we understand how it works, they don't. They should get to understand how it works. And then people will move on. Then people will use those free technologies. Well, I think it's not as simple as that. Indeed, you need an active participation of the user. You need that the user engages in mastering this technology in order to be more free. But before that, we need the user to realize. We need the consciousness of the user to open to the fact that we have one of the most crucial choices in our society to make today. Either to carry on with technology that is nice and bling bling with round corners that makes you think you're smart, or technologies that build a better world, a better society, where power will be shared among the people and not concentrated in some companies or some secret agencies. This is a choice we can make every day when we choose to use a piece of technology, to build a piece of technology, to buy a piece of technology. And this is my request today for all of you. Whenever you're confronted with a technological choice, keep those design patterns in mind. If it's not Libre software, decentralized architecture, and end-to-end encryption, then you may be participating in technology that won't make people more free, but that will make them more under control. We all have something to play here, and it is our duty, with our knowledge of technology and our understanding of its implication of society, to do something about it. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, for all these interesting topics. We have the time for one question.
3.
Two.
Two and a half.
Two questions, two good questions. Okay, who has a question for Jeremy? Qui a une question pour Jérémy? En anglais ou en français? Personne.
Si, il y en a.
C'est
Il y en a
zéro.
ici.
Qui ça? Tiens, attends. Ouais, j'y vais. En anglais ou en français?
Hello. I would just like to ask you what good alternatives are for Gmail. If you don't use Gmail, what should we use then?
It's a good question. First, you grow your own. You install your own server or with a bunch of friends or at the scale of, I don't know, a university, an organization, a company. Second, you could choose something that is more local in your jurisdiction. In France, we have La Poste, for instance, that is a venerable institution that provides email service. The thing is, you have to use end-to-end encryption on top of it. So whatever happens, the use of a webmail interface is something a bit risky unless you don't really trust the certificate here. So like everything, it's a matter of risk analysis. It's against who you're protecting yourself. But one thing for sure is you cannot send clear text messages through Google.
Ça répond à la
There's
question.
a question ici. Oui. Peut-être en français si vous voulez.
En français ou en anglais? En français. Lève-toi, pose la question. Je la traduirai.
Ok. Qu'est-ce que tu penses d'utiliser Gmail, par exemple, avec de l'encryption PGP de bout en bout, avec des choses très simples comme Mavelop, qui est un software qui permet de faire ça, une extension?
What about using Gmail with end-to-end encryption softwares?
You could do this, but you would still disclose personal information to Google. You would leave traces, the name of the people you write to, your social network, so to say, can be mapped. Plus you would get cookies in your browser and things like this. I don't know for you, but I prefer to leave no trace to Google. On a le temps d'une troisième, elles étaient courtes.
Non, on n'a pas le temps pour une troisième
Si,
question.
allez, une petite.
Non, je suis sérieux, on n'a pas le temps pour une troisième question. On a déjà 10 minutes de retard sur le planning. Et donc il faut maintenant qu'on enchaîne. Ceci dit, you can talk to Jeremy in private while you are around here. Tu ne t'en vas pas tout de suite. He's not living right now, so you have all the time you need to talk with him and ask him questions. He is very open-minded, as you guessed, so do not hesitate to interact with our speakers while they are around. Thank you, Jeremy.